All right, so here is the main concept and lines for the feelings, quote unquote, feelings sketch. And so this is basically about a bodybuilder going to his therapist because he finally, like cracks. And so it's basically the front and back end of all of my sketches. I want to have the traditional 1990s, like classic TV kind of like sound. That's a terrible mocking of it. It's like more like a kind of like, it's the Toonami slash Adult Swim kind of turn off sound. And so basically, that is the turn on and turn off the TV sound. So we're going to combine the fade to black as well as that, and that is going to be kind of what starts and ends every sketch. And so we have that fade in, and you've got the bodybuilder coming in to see the doctor. We're going to have the bodybuilder say, "Hey doc, I've got a problem." And so the bodybuilder is going to be lifting, he's going to be doing bicep curls as he walks up, right? And the doctor is going to be sitting down in his leather chair with his stethoscope, even though, again, obviously, he's not that kind of doctor. He's a therapist, right? But he's going to have on the stethoscope like a medical doctor, just again for click engagement, for people to be like, oh, wait, that's the wrong kind of doctor, as well as this is a spoof skit, right? Her sketch. And so the doctor comes in, and so he's like, "Hey doc," he's lifting weights. The doctor says, and then I'm going to be just saying it right now, but I'll be practicing the accents and getting it down. I want to do a sort of light German accent for the doctor. I basing it on Frau from the Austin Powers movies, who she goes, "Yeah, here's the doctor," to anytime Dr. Evil does stuff. And so I'm basing it on Frau's accent. And so the doctor comes in and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? Or how are you doing? Beef, how are you doing today? Yeah, let's help you out with that, or something along those lines." And then so Biff, instead of sitting down inside of the reclining like doctor's chair, like what would be traditional, he's got an incline bench that he's sitting on, and he's going to be doing curls or incline like barbell press as he's talking to the doctor. And he's going to be like, I'm going to give him kind of like a low kind of, like, "Oh doc, I don't know what doc," almost like a kind of like sad Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of sound. Or that's like the voice I'm thinking, right? Because one of my favorite things about Arnold was every time he did, any sort of originally acting, all of his acting was like him screaming and stuff. And some of those movies are so hard to watch because it's him just going, "Ow, ow." And so that's going to essentially be his like breaking down and street and crying sound when he's talking to the doctor. Is this essentially going to be like a Arnold Schwarzenegger like fighting kind of voice, right? And so so the doctor asks him how he's going, and he's like, and then he'll say, "I was at the gym, and everybody always asks me the same question." And he says, "How did that make you feel?" The traditional doctor's like, "Oh yeah, or yeah, beef. How no, that's see again. I'm not going to do the voices for that. I'm still gonna hammer out the voices, but he's going to say, "Oh, Biff, how did that make you feel?" Or Buff. Maybe I'll call him Buff. Buff Swollenson or something. Or Buff Thickinson. Something like that, or like Big Thickinson. I don't know, something along those lines, right? And so maybe he doesn't say it first. Maybe his first line back is he's like, "I can't take it anymore, doc. They keep asking me the same things at the gym." And So then the doctor says, well, what are they asking you about? What's going on? And that's when Biff says the main hook of the skit, which is, they always ask me how it feels to be big, but nobody asks me how I feel now that I'm big. Something along those lines, right? We didn't, as I was going through the sketch with someone, they told me that I originally had in my head jacked, like you're just like a fucking jacked dude, like yoked, swole, right? And jacked up in the head, and he didn't get jacked up as like a bad negative thing. And so I don't know if that will pass over too many people. So that's why I kind of have it as feeling. Everybody wants to feel my muscles, but no one asks me how my muscles feel. And maybe I'll say like, how my brain muscle feels, because again, he's like a dumb meathead bodybuilder guy. And not saying that all these guys are dumb, right? Or that to imply that they're dumb. But again, this is a comedy sketch, not trying to get people to overanalyze it. But if they do, then it, just leads to more comments, more engagements, right? And so, but again, it's along those lines of, no one asked me how it feels. And then doctor says back to him, this is the main, personal brand building. The reason that this sketch exists is, telling Biff or Buff Swolenson that it's not just about working out in the gym. You also need to work out your heart and your mind, and to be a full person. The preventative wellness and health is not just about big muscles. It's about having a big heart, having a big mind. And then bada bing, bada boom, cut it out, follow for more comedy sketches. And then you've got the fade out with the TV clicking sound turning off. And then there you go, bada bing, bada boom, first sketch of the channel, because again, I'm trying to, my personal brand and the what we're going for is preventative wellness, long-term health care, more comprehensive health care. And so starting off the channel, starting off the content with things that help to identify those differences and highlight my main goals. And so that's kind of what I'm going with. I've got all sorts of costumes. Obviously we're going to be doing the voices. I've got the whole setup for the the therapist's office, so recording that coming up soon. And so if you guys have any opinions or comments, anything that you think would be good to add in. And something that to note is that I will be doing a different movement with Biff every time he talks. So, the first time he talks, he'll be doing bicep curls. Next time he talks, he'll be doing incline. Maybe after that, he'll be doing skull crushers or something, or sitting up skull crushers, right? But that then when he breaks down, he drops the weight, and I'm thinking about adding like a thunk sound effect or something like that, which obviously these are going to be like 20-pound weights. It's not like they're going to be like massive weights, but just sound design is important. At the end, again, having like the TV sound effect is not with the fading out, and it just gives it continuity, because some of these platforms, you can just repeat watch things, and so this way it gives it an easy transition. And but yeah, there we go. That's the first one. Going to be uploading that or recording and uploading that Friday night, and that's about it. let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one. Smoke grass, eat ass, be excellent to each other. Deuces.